I was a child growing up in the Philippines. I never saw a man taking care of toddlers or singing nursery rhymes in a classroom. I saw teachers as strict, distant, and authoritative, and mostly women. So, if you told younger me that one day I'd be working in toddler's room in Japan and Canada, sitting cross-legged on a mat, playing in the sandbox with the little ones, rubbing backs during nap time, changing diapers and all that, I probably would have laughed. But life has a funny way of turning you into the person you needed growing. This ad talk is not just a reflection, it's a commitment to the profession that's rooted in compassion, to ethical choices that aren't always easy, and to advocacy for children, for families, and for voices like mine in this field. To me, professionalism in early childhood education means saying and doing what is appropriate even when others don't. It's how I carry myself both inside and outside of the workplace, being consistently respectful, mindful, and considerate of people, time, ideas, and shared space. I plan to demonstrate professionalism through ethical decision-making, clear communication, and inclusive, respectful relationships with children, families, and colleagues. My background in a collectivist culture, where harmony and respect are central values, shapes my approach. In the Philippines, my co-teacher finished instruction all without ever complaining. It was easy to read, clear, and intelligent. It was the person, collective discipline, educative, always with a person. Now in Canada, professionalism also means being reflective, as how does learning happen encourages us to do. It means seeing children not as tasks or little minds to manipulate, but as citizens with rights, individuals who enrich educators and look up to in the ECE field. Their experiences, values, and ways of practicing have helped me define what professionalism truly means in this context.
Professionalism to me is lots of time and showing up to work when you're required to. It's about that respect piece. So having respect for your colleagues, having respect for the actual field, being accountable for your own actions, I think is really important. That who work with different bounds, languages, cultures, in early childhood education, flexible, and we need digging and all of these things. So that's the big professionalism. Is really
what it means to me is about the expectation that students have, regardless of the domain, and adhere to a certain rule of their discipline, certain values, certain principles as it relates. It's about to the education, but also to your way that still knowledge that you are require. It's really about of that domain, and in this case, early childhood education. So it's critical. Professionalism is critical, especially because we are dealing with
But professionalism isn't always smooth. Sometimes the real test of our values comes when we face hard decisions, moments when right or wrong are not so clear. And that's where ethics steps in. Ethical decision making exists in our quiet, everyday choices, where our principles are challenged and our response defines who we are as an educator. One early morning, during my third placement, just 15 minutes after the center opened, a woman arrived at our door, flashed the City of Toronto ID, and firmly asked to be directed to the kitchen. She claimed to be a food and safety assessor, but there was no notice in our communication book. My mentor, the RACE on duty, politely asked for more details and told her she needed to confirm her visit with our supervisor. The woman replied, "Can't you see my city ID? Why are you delaying me from the job I need to do?" But my mentor stood her ground and said, "I will have to confirm this with my supervisor first." She stayed calm, focused, and firm. After the encounter, she turned to me and asked quietly, "Did I do something wrong?" And I said, "No, you did what's right. You upheld our ethical responsibility to protect the children. You didn't let uncertainty override safety. You communicated clearly and followed protocol. That's professionalism and ethics in action." But not all ethical decisions come with the outside visitors. Sometimes they come from within the system itself. During my second placement, a male RECE I respected pulled me aside and said, "One day, don't be surprised if a parent tells you not to change their child's diaper. It happened to me, and it might happen to you. A lot of centers still see men differently." Honestly, I was quiet at first. Not because I was shocked, but because I was disappointed. Not for myself, but for the bias that he had to endure. But still, I responded with honesty and care. And I said, "Thank you for the heads up. I know some families come from cultures where having male educators in early childhood is still difficult to accept. But that's what I'm here. I'm CPR certified, I'm professionally trained, I'm emotionally competent, and morally grounded. I'm just as capable as any female educator to provide love, learning, and safety." And I believe that this is not just my personal truth, because in many indigenous worldviews, men are not outsiders to caregiving. They are protectors, teachers, and community guides. Every adult, man or woman, holds a shared responsibility in raising the child. So, it's not a gendered role, it's a community role. It's a community commitment. And here is where ethics meets advocacy. Because standing up for what is right means standing up to what's been wrong for too long. So let's talk about why voices like mine and so many others needs to be heard and seen in this field. Let's talk to other male classmates. Hi guys, excuse me. Hi, I have a question for you guys. So, why are you studying ECE? Sorry.
Because we want to work in this field, guys.
Ah,
Of course, the same, right?
Yeah,
Don't you want to work?
yeah, I want to work in this field.
you want to work with children?
Yeah, of course. I love them, man.
All right, I have another question for you. Why do you think men are important in this ECE field?
Yeah, so, as a male, we are also essential part of the early childhood education. Means our presence bring the gender diversity, and it helps them. Means our presence helps them to break the stereotypes. And maybe you should ask the same question to the children, why they like the men, because I guess they get benefited from both men and women as a part of their care, because men has their own different teaching strategies, they have their different experiences. So yeah, that's it. And even he has a skill of changing diapers. He do better because we were used to in the same placement. I saw him.
Oh, your placement?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you want to add something to that?
Well, but all right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think he agrees. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. It's now a good time to talk.
Yes, that's fine.
I'm working on a video. If you don't mind me recording you.
Yeah, sure, you can record.
Thank you, Sartaj. So this is my friend and classmate, Sartaj. I have two questions for you. And the first one is, why are you studying ECE?
So, you are particularly talking about males?
Yes.
Why the males are studying the EC?
Yes.
So, my answer is why the girls study EC?
Oh, that's a good
I think
point.
there should be no question like that why males study EC if we have no answer for why girls learn EC.
I actually agree with you.
So that's my answer for the first.
Right. And how about for the second question? Why do you think men are important in this field dominated by female educators?
Oh, so I don't think the daycare child center have a bias about the males, but again this question answer also same as why female should be in daycare or child care, because I don't think there should be difference between a male or female teacher. So the question always arise from for only for males. So I'm asking another question why a female should be in daycare. So that's my answer for the second question.
That's actually true. Thought-provoking questions as your answers. Thank you, Sir Taj.
In terms of males in the field, this is something that I think is really important, something that we don't see enough of. It's definitely, in my mind, something that certain children really attach to. I think that certain children really respond differently to a male versus a female leader. I think it's really important to show, again, we talk about diversity and inclusion in our programs, and I think it's really important to show children that, men and women can both be in our field and successfully be in our field. So I think those are the two really big components that I think about when I think about males in the field and why we need them. Yeah, and I think you bring a good point. I think not a lot of children experience that from the males in their life. I think you're right. I think showing them that there is a gentle side, that we can care, and that exactly we can show affection and all of those things. I think that you're right. I think it's really important, especially for those children who don't get that aspect in their life.
Thank you very much for your ideas, sir.
You're welcome.
Regarding males in ECE, I think it's critical. I think we have a responsibility to ensure that all of our students, but males in particular, have the opportunity to pursue career in early education. That comes from having the right education, the right academic focus, the right theoretical focus, but also understanding that there are challenges with being male in what we all acknowledge as a predominantly female-dominated domain, a female-dominated sector. But especially in ECE, children are, there are boys and girls, and I think males would require, we require males to present a good, meaningful, effective role model for male children. A positive, of course, role model for male children and female children as well. So I think it's critical that we do our best to educate young men to pursue careers in this field, notwithstanding some of the challenges. The other side of that coin, of course, is to recognize